Hi book lovers, this is Jenny, Julia Baby Jen's Reading Room, and this is my top favorite reads of 2013 so far.
Busted!
So, I decided I am going to share with you my top favorite reads of the year so far. The reason I'm doing it in July. Well, I read a lot of books, an obscenely amount of books a year. At the end of the year, there's always these fun top 10s, your favorite reads out of this genre, your top 10 favorite authors, all kinds of different categories. And I love doing these and they're so much fun. But for me, it's really challenging because when you read so many books, to narrow it down to 10 is just obscenely ridiculous. And so I decided this year that I am going to split it up into two parts. I'm going to do talk about my top favorite for the first half of 2013, and then at the end of the year I will do the second half. Okay, the next category I have to talk to you about is YA Steampunk. It's kind of a steampunk slash urban fantasy. Steampunk is kind of a new genre, and I really am starting to love this genre. You could kind of stick Cassandra Clare's The Infernal Devices series under it, but that series has a lot more paranormal to it. I haven't read a lot of steampunk yet, but there's one series that I've read this year that I love, and that is the Steampunk Chronicles by Katie Cross. The first book is The Girl in the Steel Corset. I might read the synopsis on this one too. I think it's just easier than me trying to explain it. It takes place in 1897 in London. In 1897 England, 16-year-old Finley Jane has no one except the thing inside her. When a young lord tries to take advantage of Finley, she fights back and wins. But no normal Victorian girl has a darker side that makes her capable of knocking out a full-grown man with one punch. Only Griffin King sees the magical darkness inside her that says she's special, says she's one of them. The orphan Duke takes her from the gaslit streets against the wishes of his band of misfits, and Finley thinks she might finally be part of something, finally fit in, until a criminal mastermind known as the Machinist threatens to tear the group apart. So basically, this series is about Finley, and Finley is our main character. And she has a dark side within her that makes her very dangerous, very volatile, and she can totally kick butt, which is just amazing. And Griffin is this rich duke who also has some paranormal abilities of his own. And he's kind of created this band of misfits that live with him, and he basically tries to help them be more normal, but at the same time, they solve cases and deal with bad people. It's kind of an interesting concept. They all draw. It's kind of got this paranormal thing to it. They all draw from something called the Aether, which is this other dimension to our world that you can go into and draw energy from. And that's what Griffin is able to do, and he's very powerful. And then there's Sam, who is actually part machine now. He almost died, and they saved him by replacing lots of him with machinery. His heart is now iron, and lots of parts of his brain. So, it's not realistic, but it's fun. But he's kind of he's a lot like Finley, very volatile, and he and Finley hate each other, just hate each other. They get these horrible fights. And actually, I didn't like Sam that much. And then there's Emily, who Sam is in love with, and she's the smart girl. She's kind of the doctor of the group, and she's the one who fixes Sam. But she's one of my favorites too, and she's very smart. She doesn't really have any special abilities other than well, I guess I shouldn't say that. She does have a special ability. She can talk to machines, and that's how she was able to fix Sam. She's like an extra sense where she can do that. And then there's Jasper, who doesn't really have any special abilities, and he's from America, but he's kind of joined their group. He's just very kick-butt guy, and he's really good in martial arts and that kind of thing. And Jasper is one of my favorite characters. So this one is all about Finley joining their group and trying to trust her, and this machinist guy. And this actually has a prequel in it that talks about how Finley escapes that one evil guy who tries to take advantage of her. So yeah, this one's mostly them, and Finley and Griffin have this romantic angst thing going through the whole book. There is romance in this one, but it's kind of set. It's not front and center. It's kind of in the background. It's always there, but what I love about this series is the characters and their relationships with each other and how that changes over time. And then at the same time, they've got these really cool kick-butt scenes, this inventive stuff going on. So yeah, that's pretty cool. The next one is The Girl in the Clockwork Collar, and this one takes place in New York. Jasper has been captured. He's actually wanted by the law for murder in San Francisco, and he's captured. And his old girlfriend, May, that's her right there, is being held captive under this clockwork collar that if she tries to escape or if Jasper tries to take her away, it will tighten and choke her and kill her. But he can't, if you touch the collar, it tightens and starts to hurt her. So he's captured, and so the rest of the gang go to New York to try to save him. So that's what this one's about. I didn't like this one as much as the first one, and I think it's because it took place in New York, and I don't know, it's just, New York at that time was not a glamorous place, and it's kind of dirty and all that, so maybe that's part of it. But it was pretty good. And then the third book is The Girl with the Iron Touch, and this one's a lot more about Emily and Sam, and they're back in London, which I liked. And I actually liked Sam in this one. We actually get to see another side of Sam, and we get to learn a lot more about Emily, and this is her, Emily on the cover. And so yeah, it's pretty cool. And then they have a new character that joins in on this one. Her name is Mila, and she is all pretty much machine. So yeah, this one's a really good one too. So yeah, all in all, this is a great series, especially if you are new to steampunk. It has that paranormal side to it with the historical, great characters. So yeah, I really like this series. And the other steampunk I read this year that I really enjoyed was A Conspiracy of Alchemists by Alicia Schwartz. This is a brand new series called The Chronicles of Light and Shadow. And I got this one as an e-arc from NetGalley, and I loved this story so much. It was so good. The main character in this one is called Ellie. She's also a kick-butt girl. She is very technologically minded, and she's a pilot of basically those big airships that were big in the early part of the century. This book takes place all over the place. Starts out in Paris, then it moves to England, then it moves to Vienna, then it moves to Constantinople. So it's all over Europe kind of a story. She's on this adventure. Basically, it's Ellie and Marsh. Marsh joins up with her, and they have this. Their relationship gets really interesting. But basically, her father is kidnapped, and she's trying to save him. At the same time, someone's trying to kidnap her as well. So it's against this evil guy trying to solve the mystery. It's an adventure story. It's got a little paranormal. It's got all the cool inventions with steampunk. She's very smart. She's a Spitfire redhead, which I love. And yeah, it's a really good story. I have the sequel, A Clockwork Heart, to read yet, and I'm hoping I like that one as well. The next category is children's books, which I don't have a lot. I just picked my two top favorite, which I've actually just recently read. First is Fire by Angie Sage. And this is the 7th and last book in the Septimus Heap series, and I love this series. So yeah, this is just an amazing, it's a middle grade book, and it's just an amazing series, and I loved Fire. It really tied up the entire series. It uses things that happen in all 6 previous books tie into here with all the characters, and we get a nice knowing of what happens to them, but it still leaves things kind of open-ended because the kids are young, and yeah, it's really good finale. Angie Sage is just a brilliant writer, and there is going to be a spin-off series, which I cannot wait for. The Tale of Despero by Kate D. Camillo. Yeah, this was a cute book. This is definitely a children's book. It's not very long, and it's definitely written for younger readers. But it's great. It tells great lessons. It's an engaging story. It's interesting. I just really loved it. It was really really cute, and yeah, it's a great book for kids. One of the best books if you have kids. This is one of the best books you can buy them. It teaches really great things, and it's on their level, but it's fun. So yeah, this is a great children's book. The next category I have is YA Sci-Fi, which mostly in this day and age pretty much is either aliens or time travel or a weird kind of thing in dystopian land. These are my favorites so far of the year, and I do like my sci-fi. Alright, first is Julie Cross's Tempest series. Tempest and Vortex. Tempest I read right at the beginning of the year, and I really did like this book. I've heard good and bad things about it. It's one of those books that you either like or you don't like. But if you don't like it, I'm guessing it's probably because it's so confusing, and it is very confusing. And it's a little more adult in scope, I think. It's not really, I would not classify it really as a teen read, but yeah, it definitely has a lot more of the sci-fi, and we have a secret government agency and all these secret government agencies from the future, so there's a lot of that going on. So if you're not into any of that, you probably wouldn't like these books. But yeah, I really like Tempest, and I just recently read Vortex, which is even more confusing than Tempest, and I'm going to have to reread both of them before I read the third one to make sure I know exactly what's going on, because I was a little confused. And I usually do not get confused on sci-fi and time travel, but I did a little bit here. But it was still really good, and I enjoyed it. I really like the main character Jackson in this. Jackson is just awesome. He is one of the best main characters ever. So that totally is what makes the series for me. He's so smart, and it's just really, really a cool concept. So yeah, this is a good series for sci-fi. Unraveling by Elizabeth Norris. I absolutely loved this book. I like the sequel too, which I'll talk about here in a minute. This is a dystopian sci-fi, really, is what it is. I don't really want to give away too much of what it is. It's kind of time travel, but not really. It's more of a parallel universe type of story. I'm going to read the synopsis on this one because I think it'll describe it better than how I can say it. 2 days before the start of her junior year, 17-year-old Janelle Tenner is hit by a pickup truck and killed. As in blinding light, scenes of her life flashing before her, and then nothing. Except the next thing she knows, she's opening her eyes to find Ben Michaels, a loner from her high school, whom Janelle has never talked to, leaning over her. And even though it isn't possible, she knows, with every fiber of her being, that Ben has somehow brought her back to life. But her revival and Ben's possible role in it is only the first of the puzzles that Janelle must solve. While snooping in her FBI agent father's files for clues about her accident, she uncovers a clock that seems to be counting down to something. But to what? And when someone close to Janelle is killed, she can no longer deny what's right in front of her. Everything that's happened, the accident, the murder, the countdown clock, Ben's sudden appearance in her life, points to the end of life as she knows it. And as the clock ticks down, she realizes that if she wants to put a stop to the end of the world, she's going to need to uncover Ben's secrets and keep from falling in love with him in the process. So this is an amazing story. Well, duology. I don't know if there's going to be any more books written about Ben and Janelle, but oh my word. Janelle is one of my favorite MC characters ever. She is just awesome. She is total kick butt, but she's smart. And it's a realistic kick butt because her dad's an FBI agent, as it says in that. He's actually pretty head honcho at the FBI. And he's taught her a lot. So she knows a lot of kick-ass moves. And she's just very smart. And it's kind of a mystery with it, which is really cool. And I loved Ben in this one. But what I love about this duology is it's not, this one is more Ben and Janelle, but the next one's more Janelle, and she is just so awesome. And I love the story, and it's very inventive and creative. So yeah, if you really like sci-fi, I would pick this up. And it's not your typical time travel book at all. It's totally different, and I really loved it. We have the sequel to Unraveling, Unbreakable, which was even better than Unraveling to me. I loved this one. Now, it's interesting because Ben isn't a huge part of this story. This just shows how kick-ass Janelle is, and she really is. She is one, I mean, she makes Katniss look like nothing. She is just amazing. She's smart, she's savvy, and she's great. She has to do a lot on her own in this one. Now, she does have Barclay to help her, and actually, I really liked Barclay in this one. He was amazing. The two of them together were great, but she is on her own a lot, and a lot of really bad things happen to her. So, but yeah, this was a heart-in-your-throat, non-stop action book from beginning to end. And I had no idea what was going to happen, how things were going to turn out. Oh, it's so good. I'm really hoping there's going to be more books, and I don't know if there is or isn't. But Elizabeth Norris, please write another book with Janelle. I don't care if Ben's in it. I just want Janelle. She is just so amazing. So that is my part 3 of my favorite reads of 2013 so far. It's already August, and I'm so behind on this video. I was hoping to have it all done by July, but oh well. The next part, I have one more part left, part 4, and that deals with dystopians. It gets its own video because I have so many to show you. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye.